Hi, everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and myself is 7. Oh. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, what if I told you that I was once homeless in the military while I was in the military?
Wouldn't believe me? Nope.
No? Well, some people wouldn't believe me because they know that we get housing allowance, substance allowance, and a decent paycheck every month. So, shouldn't be any reason for someone to become homeless while they're in the military. I wasn't the person that was homeless. However, the person that I am talking about was in the military. They just didn't budget at all. Ended up losing their house and everything else. Hello, everyone. My name is Watkins, and I'm going to talk to you about the process of creating a basic budget. My credibility. I feel credible enough to talk about this information because I've done research throughout the week. One in particular was from moneymanagement.net, which was run by Financial Services Roundtable, who represents about 100 of the largest financial services companies. And I'm also pursuing an accounting degree at UCB. A reason for you guys to listen. Life is going to throw many things your way. Sometimes you're going to want to go out and buy something, or you're going to have to spend money on something, so you're always going to need a budget. So before you go out and buy those cute shoes, or buy that cute purse, or that new iPad, or the car, you should make sure that you set a budget, a basic budget at the least. Today we're going to go over what you need to create a basic budget. First, we're going to go over gathering your information, basic information that you're going to need to gather in order to do your budget. We're going to go over how to organize information on a spreadsheet. We will then find out what you do, see the outcome, and what are your choices. Now that you know what we'll talk about, I'll move on to gathering information. The things that you will need are billing statements, such as credit card billing statement, utilities, all bills that you will receive in the mail that you have to spend money on. The next thing that you'll need is your banking statement. The reason you'll need your banking statements is so that you can see from the previous month what you spent money on and what you're most likely to spend money on in the future. Then you will also need your pay stubs. This will let you know how much money you make so you can put it in and then subtract. Now that I've told you what we will need to gather, I will move on to what you will do with that information. You're going to have to get a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is the basic component of what you need to prepare a budget, a basic budget. You're going to have to separate your expenses. According to ehow.com budgeting, they recommend that you separate your budget into fixed expenses and variable expenses. Your fixed expenses are the expenses that won't change during the month, such as your rent, car note, light bill, all the things that you're going to have to spend daycare every month. Then you're going to want to separate and go into variable expenses, which are the things that can change, such as gas, if you don't drive, the same amount every week, spending money, such as lunch money, groceries, because sometimes you don't need $200 to buy groceries. And then you're going to need to put in your income at the bottom of the spreadsheet. You will subtract your expenses from your income, and then you will have the outcome. Now that we have just went over what you will need to organize your information, we'll move on to what you do with that information. Once you create your spreadsheet, you'll have you'll have two different outcomes. One can be that you have extra money to spend. With the extra money, you can put it in a children's account, retirement account, or you can pay off credit cards that you may want to pay off early, if you have any, which is this right here. If you end up in a negative, however, you can then go to your variable expenses, which is these right here: groceries, gas for cars, or spending money for lunch, and you might be able to remove some of that expenses from there, since it doesn't have to be the same every month. Now that we have completely gone over how to create a basic budget, we will wrap things up. Today we went over the process of creating a basic budget. We went over the documents that you have to gather for your budget. We went over what to do, how to put it in a spreadsheet, and we also went over the different outcomes. I think it's Jeremy Wilkout from About.com, the financial advisor at About.com, recommends that you should review your spreadsheet about twice a month, which is what I do. I do it with the first paycheck and 15th paycheck. That will help you in balancing your budget. If the individual I spoke about earlier would have had at least a basic budget, she would not have ended up homeless and buying a house that had expenses, monthly expenses, that exceeded her income.
So is it really hard to make a budget then if you have little income, is it very hard to have a budget?
No, sir. It's not. It doesn't matter how little or how much you make, as long as you don't spend more than you make.
Okay.
And if you just you can even put one and two things. You just need a spreadsheet, just subtract your expenses from your income, and that's about it. So it doesn't matter how much you make.
Thank you.
No problem.
Do you think it'd be smart, depending on how much you make, to just start a savings account?
Yes, sir.
All that?
Yes, that's why I said basic budget, because, and I have on here savings account for fixed income, because that's something that I want to do every month, and I don't want that to vary, So I want to pay myself first. So it is very smart to pay yourself first, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think they should teach about basic budget in high school?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea, because most people, when they find out the harsh realities of life, is when they get out on their own and they're 20-something and they have their own apartment, and then they have to struggle or start from the beginning. But if they have that information or that knowledge from high school, that would be beneficial.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.